What's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Hip Hop, The Family Reunion, Season 1, Episode 5. You guys, I like this episode. Maybe because I was feeling all of the all the psychological, we delved into some stuff this week, so I enjoyed it. But you guys, anyway, I only got 30 minutes left on my lunch break, so let me get to this review, shall we? All right, you guys. So remember last week, Scrappy said that he was going to have Bible study. Well, Bible study is about to happen. He and Bambi are preparing the area for everybody to come for said study. And, he was just like, I feel like, marble mouth. He said he feels like his dad almost. Bambi said, you kind of look like your dad, too. His dad is a preacher. I guess we knew that, but I think I forgot that somewhere along the way. Isn't that interesting that his dad would be a preacher and his mama was a pimp? And a real pimp. Have you guys seen that picture of Mama D going around with her girls? And even from some of the stuff that Scrappy said in this episode, I was like, okay, Mama D. I mean, I guess I believed that she was, but I mean, she really, really was. He gonna talk to everybody about the creator. He feel like he got some spiritual things inside of him that he needs to get out. Bambi said, don't slip up and curse while you talking to the people. So then everybody starts to get there. Carly said nothing brings a family together like prayer. Yandy tells us that she's not really a religious person, but she is spiritual, and she believes in God. So she's here for this Bible study. Ray J said, I feel like a prostitute in the front row of a church. I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I need to repent. Erica says she don't understand how the biggest sinner is up there preaching to them. Well, you know what? A saint is just a sinner who fell down. The rest of the people come on in and y'all get seated. Trick says turn to Corinthians. Scrappy gonna say, and the Philippines. You already know how this Bible study about to go. Scrappy gets up there and does somewhat of a testimony, child. He talking about all kind of stuff. You know how he ain't had furniture one day when he woke up. The light bill was too big. He couldn't pay that. I know he was getting around to something, meaningful. Bambi was like, he just so long-winded, child. I mean, he just got to really tell the whole full story. Maybe we can cut down some of all this testimony. And Carly Red gets up and she was like, Scrappy, since the food is here, should I, can we bless it? And he was like, that'd be beautiful. Come on up here. So she gives us the pat, quick, general prayer, bless the food, bless the hands that are prepared in your name. We pray, amen. And then, I guess the doors of the church are open. So everybody is getting up and saying their, testimony. So Paris gets up there and she says, thank God that she stole that money from K. Michelle, a while back, even though it put her in a dark place. She actually has evolved. She's come somewhere. She was broken back then, but now she's not anymore because she's got a spot on Love and Hip Hop. That's not exactly what she said, but you guys, I'm paraphrasing. No, I mean, I'm sure she's probably come up. We've all had our times. Mama D gets up and she says that she wants to sing for everybody. Everybody's looking around like, oh God. We had already got a preview of this on Instagram. I actually posted it on my Instagram, a couple of months back. But, she decided to go on and give it to us on the show as well. And I'm going to attempt my best, Mama D, singing I Surrender All, which is one of my mom's favorite gospel songs, as a matter of fact. But anyway, getting to the song. To thee, my blessed Savior. I was like, Mama D, girl, you was singing that song, child. She was feeling the spirit. Everybody was giggling. Some of them looked like they had tears in their eyes. So, Mama D was there for the comedic relief. Sierra got up there and said, she's a true believer in God and, always trying to be positive. She's learned so much from everybody there. She just likes to sit back and listen and, learn from everybody. So that's what she's gotten from this. Then Mendeecees gets up there and he says, it's interesting because he doesn't always feel like he fits in a lot of places. You know, he's a lot different from everybody else. You know, he was in jail this time last year, and he's been through a lot. He's been shot twice. He's been stabbed 13 fucking times. He said that his son, at one time, they were plotting to kidnap his son. It's just been really hard for him, you know, so for him to have come so far, you know, is amazing. I was actually very touched by what he was saying. He had told us in the confessional that he had a difficult childhood. You know, his parents weren't really around, so him and his brothers kind of had to fend for themselves. So he kind of starts on that at the testimony. And of course, you know, we got Mama Judy Juicy right there, and she is starting to feel some kind of way. I'm sure her cheeks was burning a little bit. He said, you know, when they were younger, they didn't even know if they were going to eat some days. And Judy was like, oh, you know, why didn't you? And then he was like, do you want me to really go there? And she was just like, I want you to say whatever God leads you to say. Well, I mean, you gave the permission. You know, this is a difficult thing. So Mendeecees goes on to say, yeah, I mean, it was me and my brothers there. You know, we would be left alone for days on end. And, you know, a lot of times we wouldn't know what we were going to eat. You know, she was like, well, where was your grandmother? No, where were you, Judy? But, you know, I'm not trying to point fingers. Obviously, Judy had a rough, you know, she was a young mom, like she said, and that, you know, she didn't make all the best decisions. So I'm not trying to say that that's horrible. I mean, it is horrible, but, you know, people, the journey is what happens. So I'm sure she's not that same person. But what I'm saying is, he's telling his story. It shouldn't be up to the grandmother to really take care of you, even as a young mother. You know, I'm not pointing the finger. I just want you guys to understand that. But as a young mother, you know, you still have to be responsible for your boys. She wasn't. Fine. She was out. She was doing whatever. But she was just like, well, where was your grandmother? Where was your cousins, your aunties, your uncles? Like, you know, there were other people around to take care of you. But that's not the point that he was saying. She got so offended. And really, you guys, it's just embarrassment. That's all it is. She got so offended, though, she got up, and I thought she was walking out. He was just like, no, Ma, I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm trying to say that we came from a long way, you know, that it was bad for all of us. This was in the 80s, you know, shit was tough. And, but we made it through. He's like, I'm proud of you for what you've done. But see, Judy was just like, you don't have the right to tell my story, you know, to all of these people before I can tell my story. And again, that's true. But much like Scrappy said, is that sometimes the stories intertwine and connect. And my story, if you are involved into my story, then that's my story as well. You know, it's your story and it's my story. And considering the fact that Mendeecees is her son, you know, that very much was his truth. And he wanted to express it. But, you know, she was so embarrassed and upset about the fact that he was kind of like telling her tea, that she couldn't get out of the, you know what, you're right, I really did make some bad mistakes. Because if she would have just said that, like, we already know you're not that same mom no more, okay, that you learned from, at least we would think so, you know. And so if you would have just been like, yeah, I did. I just want to make sure young people nowadays, you know that we went through the same things. Like, it's been tough for everybody, you know, yada, yada. If she would have took that approach, it wouldn't have been so tough. But she's not ready to admit to that. And I mean, you know, and that happens as well. So Mendeecees was starting to feel bad that he had said these things about his mom, because now he realized that he had upset her. Yandy was upset that Judy wouldn't let him talk, you know, wouldn't let him choose, you know, let him express himself. She gets up there and she was just like, Judy, you raised an amazing kid. Like, even though shit was tough back then, look what you've done. Look at the man that he is today. Like, you should be proud of that. But like I said, Judy can't see around all of that because she's still embarrassed and caught up in, you know, kind of giving excuses on why she behaved the way that she did. So, I mean, I felt bad for Judy because that is embarrassing, you know, but also at the same time, you know, if this is what Mendeecees went through, he's feeling like led by the Spirit to give his testimony, then that's what it is, you know. So when it was over, and Yandy and Mendeecees were leaving, everybody was trying to console Judy and just let her know, like, it's okay. Like, we're not pointing the finger. We're not bashing you. We're not mad at what you've done. My phone is about to die, you guys. It's just shit happens. We grow up. We might have kids when we wasn't ready. We grow up. We do the best we can, even if we wasn't really around, And that's that. So I was actually very interested and touched by that whole conversation because I felt like Mendeecees was very sincere. Now, like I told you, Scrappy said that he did realize, even if it was just that moment, that his story is very much his mother's story. And, he used to get mad at Mama D for always wanting to put him in her conversations and talking. He'd be like, no, keep my name out your mouth. Don't be bringing me up. Don't be having me, all of that. But that little thing that happened with Mendeecees and his mom made Scrappy realize that, it does have some overlap. So he actually goes and he talks, gets Erica, says, can I talk to you for a second? Y'all saw how he looked up at the camera like, well, here goes nothing. So they go off to the side. And I was just like, okay, long overdue conversation. I could see Erica, she was emotional. She was getting worked up. Like, you could tell her voice was shaking and she was almost going to cry. She was just like, I just been wanting to do this. I just wanted us to talk, but I didn't, how you are. I didn't really want us to have any kind of confrontation. When she kept on saying, how you are. It's just like, again, it's both of you, but I'm going to let this slide. In the spirit of everybody getting along for e-money. So, in the past, they've bumped heads. In the past, they've had a hard time talking. She just feels like they shouldn't be at this point anymore. Imani is 16 years old. And, they should be working more together, especially when she's at this age where really she could play one parent against the other. She could be, conniving, not saying that that's how she is, but, teenage kids, they push things to see what they can get away with, So it would just be much easier if everybody just got along, if everybody just communicated. It don't have to always be all this, like, fighting and gridlock and, people being pissed off. He was just like, yeah, you're right, because we just want to make sure that Imani is raised correctly, that we give her the best environment that we can, and all of this. So it was actually very nice to see that they were able to do this. He said that he was really proud of both Erica and Bambi because of all of the shit that they've been through, for them to be able to have talked, even without him. He admired the fact that they both grown up women, mature enough. He hadn't made it. He hadn't hit that maturity level just yet to sit down and talk to her. And this is the reason why he's decided to talk to her today. So when Bambi comes over, he tells her that he's also very proud. And yeah, you guys, I don't know. I just really liked that because, man, Erica and Scrappy and Bambi's thing, and really more so just really Scrappy and Erica's thing. If y'all been watching me all these years, you guys know how I feel about that. So it was cool to see this because it's like everybody is mature. Everybody is grown. Everybody has their own thing. Erica looks like she's very happy with her kids and her, man or whatever, her, I don't even know if she's still with the guy. I think that she is, but she looks like she's moved on with her life. So it's no need for us to keep having this. This is called growth, forward movement, you guys, progress. Imani is going to be very happy to know that they've gotten here. I'm sure she's accepted the fact that they didn't get along, but kids still would like for their parents to be able to at least not hate each other. It was a good thing. I was touched. You guys, were you? Afterwards, Erica goes to speak to Yandy. Yandy's so upset about what happened at Bible study that she feels like she needs to talk to somebody. She was telling Erica how she was just so pissed because Mendeecees is so quiet. He's reserved. He doesn't really say anything. The fact that he opened up today, she was happy about that. He felt comfortable enough to do that. But then Judy would not let him have his moment. And it was not right. She was upset about it. Erica says, you know what? I've been through the same thing with my mom. And I remember kind of on the show we kind of saw a little bit of this with Erica and her mother. You guys know the first season when the mom came on, they kind of bumped heads a little bit. And it was because Erica remembered her childhood differently than her mother did. And remember, her mom was like, it wasn't that bad. And Erica says, yes, it was. You know, we're products of our childhood. Our environment that we're raised in, what we go through, that's kind of what shapes, not kinda, it is what shapes us to be the person that we are as adults. So parents sometimes just don't want to take that credit, like if you raised a fucked up child or not, you know. I mean, Erica and Mendeecees has been through more, obviously being in jail and all of that, but, you know, they turned out okay, but, you know, it wasn't for, you know, it was a whole bunch of roadblocks in the way. And so Erica's just saying how, yeah, she went through the same thing. She did have times where she just ate butter and sugar. And I was like, wow, you know, you don't know what you don't know what people be going through. That's why you just can't be judgmental, because people have been through a lot. Yandy just says that she feels like the way he is, or the way he was raised, and the way that, you know, like that same situation where Judy cut him off and wouldn't let him talk. She was like, that kind of thing shows up in his life in other ways. Like he's super duper, like overprotective of the kids, especially his daughter. He's not gonna let his daughter spend the night out, just doesn't want the kids to do anything and this and that. And Erica says, you know, I'm that same parent. Like, I just remember what I went through. Like, she didn't have anybody really to save her when she was younger. She doesn't want that for her daughter. So she makes sure her daughter is always, you know, she got to be the over-involved mother because of what she went through when she was younger. And I've actually had talks with my friends, and a lot of them have said this same thing, you know, that are extra protective of their children as well. Yandy is just saying that he still kind of feels like one day they're going to leave him. And, you know, she's just like, I've tried to prove my love to him. Like, what more does he need? And so this conversation was good with Erica, because Erica is Mendeecees. And so Yandy is kind of able to bounce some of the things off of Erica and kind of see it from Mendeecees' standpoint. So I also enjoyed this conversation as well. Erica does say, look, definitely you guys can get past this. I know you don't get along with Judy, but look at how me and Mama D were. I mean, we used to be at each other's throats. You know, Mama D could not stand Erica. And now they've gotten to this place. She's just like, you can do it, you know, because at the end of the day, we're all family, and family needs to get together, even if it's a disjointed, you know, extended family and all of this. Still family. So, I mean, I know Yandy is not going to break up with Mendeecees, but I mean, these are just the growing pains that goes on in a marriage. Okay. Now, speaking of Mendeecees and Judy, we see Judy go and visit Mendeecees as well in his room, and he was like, oh, I'm in trouble, huh? You know, I shouldn't have said what I said. And she's still just trying to tell him, like, that was my story. You wasn't supposed to be telling them that. And he was just like, but Mom, I'm not trying to make you look bad. I mean, I really wish you would understand that I'm proud of you. Even though we went through all of that, you still turned out to be a great mom, and you still, you know, did this, that, and the other for me. Well, Judy, like I said, she just not there. She is not ready to admit her faults. She'll probably get there eventually, hopefully, you know, because that will, I think, strengthen their relationship. She was just like, you just don't get it. I was a young mom, you know, I did stay out and I partied too much, but you know, what about your father? You know, he was like, what? Why are you even bringing him up? You talking about my stepfather, the one that, you know, was there, and then all of a sudden y'all broke up and he just left and never said nothing else to us, never, ever again? Like, why are you even bringing him up? All right, he was just like telling the producers, like, I can't even talk to her because if she gonna be talking about shit like this don't even, like this, okay, we're not talking about him because he was not there. You don't want to face the guilt. She said she wasn't guilty, but she was. Sometimes we just got to give people the space to get to that moment. Everybody don't get to resolution and healing as fast as others do. So, or you know, are ready to deal with the job of healing, I should say. So, Judy not there yet. I'm not gonna kick her while she's down. She needs to try to get there soon, though, you know, because just denying something that really did happen don't help nobody, and it definitely doesn't help the person that's lying to themselves. Next day, we see Jacques. He's working his radio show. I was like, I would just love to work on a radio show. I would love to be on a radio. Carly Red is planning a fun outdoor day. I think it's called Juve. I believe that is what it is. And it's a celebration. She said it's the first day of carnival where they celebrate, they throw paint, they throw water, and, you know, the dust paint and all of that shit that you see them doing. It's just a celebration of being free. Okay, so we're going to wind your waist, wind your waist. Wind your waist. Everybody's going to have a good time. At the same time, we see Trick up there exercising supposedly with Erica. I'm sorry, not Erica, April. I don't know why we forcing this whole thing with Trick and April. It's really almost uncomfortable because she barely is tolerating him at this point. You know, she was saying that he done got on the girl's nerves so bad that she decided to invite him up there to see if he could hang by exercising. Well, you could tell that Trick can't hang by exercising. Trick said he manly built. Okay, he don't need to be doing all this working out. He already, you know, in shape. She was like, I'm probably stronger than you are. She's working out with him, or she's trying to show him some exercise, and he was like, you know, you're not training material. He just went on and said, I'm just here because you look good. And she was just like, you know what, girl, I don't know why you sit up there wasting your time. She was just like, you know, you've been up here and you didn't offended all of the women up here, you know, because basically you don't value women. And he was like, y'all don't value yourselves. I was like, oh, Eddie got an answer for everyone. Girl, don't even get yourself caught up. They, of course, get to talking back and forth. Trick is never going to see it from the woman's perspective. You know, he was like, I ain't been downing you guys. I ain't been arguing with you guys. I've been complimenting you guys the whole time. That's his version of complimenting. And he don't understand why everybody's panties is in such a bunch. I said, April, girl, just... Trick is he's different, and so we just don't even knock yourself out trying to understand him. It is ununderstandable. You don't even realize that he done made her mad. Y'all just gone to the Juve party. Now we see Scrappy go and talk to Mendeecees. He says that he felt like Mendeecees' speech kind of opened him up to, you know, be able to talk to Erica. You know, obviously Mendeecees has been through more than everybody pretty much that's been there. Well, maybe not Trick, because Trick been in and out of jail himself, but I don't know if he did a bid that long as Mendeecees did. Mendeecees kind of just gives the extended version of the story when he was younger. He was like, you know, I was selling drugs before I even knew what I was selling. He was like, I was so young, and I was just out there trying to survive. You know, he was like, his real father was introduced to him by his aunt, and the father just basically was like, almost like, what's up, little nigga? And then just kept it pushing. And he was pissed about that. Like, would you even introduce me to him for? He ain't around. Like, that didn't do nothing for my life. So that's why now he's super involved with his children, because he was like, I don't want my kids to ever feel like I felt when I was their ages. So that's why he goes so hard. And Scrappy was saying that, yeah, you know, he realizes his mom, she did, you know, she wasn't the best mama either. You know, she was a pimp. He was like, we had like a for real whorehouse. He was like, you know, it was like 9 women living with us. You know, sometimes me and my sister had to sleep in the room with my mom because they were using our rooms. Like, this was for real, for real. And so he was like, you know, so yeah, she didn't do things the best way, but now he realizes she did what she had to do, what she felt she needed to do at the time, and they done made it through that. So yeah, it was dysfunctional, but they made it through. As far as him and Erica, Mendeecees is happy that they was able to talk, because you don't want your kids to go through what either of us went through as children ourselves. So they finish up their little talk and they on their way to the Juve party as well. So everybody's excited about the festival. We have, you know, Sierra saying how she's excited. Trina saying that she's excited. You know, they explain what this whole Juve party is. Actually, Carly Red gets up there and explains it to us and says that it was a celebration in Trinidad where the slaves, they would mock the owners of the slaves, you know, the slave owners, and through this party, you know, and they would throw the paint and they would throw the water, because it was like they really were free, even though they were slaves, and the slave owners thought that they had them, but they didn't have their spirit, you know. So that's what the spirit of this party is. Everybody needs it because it's been heavy the last couple of days, and it's a good time. Okay, of course there's drinks, red cups all around. at some point we see Judy with the red cup, and I was like, oh, this is juicy now. While they doing a little limbo contest, and you know everybody is having a good time. Afterwards, Juicy get up there and she says she was from Guyana and that they had it so tough when she was young that, you know, she used to walk around. She didn't even have any shoes. And, you know, we're not going to besmirchify Judy and her, how she was raised and what she went through. That definitely is her story. It's just like you could tell that she was just sort of like trying to come up with something that was going to make people feel sorry for her, you know, kind of the same way that her son did, I guess. And so, you know, he was just like, Lord, we got to get that red cup away from Judy. And, you know, Yandy was like, I'm staying away from your mama. And she was just like, look at her over there. You know, she's teaching my son how to be disrespectful. And Yandy was like, what? Did she say I was teaching you how to be disrespectful? Like, what? And Judy was like, yeah, she is. Yes, she is. Okay, again, she's been sipping. So, but who knows? Judy might say these things completely sober as well. But Yandy is upset. Like, I know she's not saying that. Like, you know, Yandy's so upset she got to walk away. She said she ain't got time for this shit. I guess maybe there might be a little bit of tension between Yandy and Judy. I still don't think it's to the extent that they say that it is, but I think that this little part, like this episode, felt the most real out of all the episodes, really, that we've had so far. And well, not all of them, because I feel like Scrappy and Bambi's thing was, Scrappy and Erica's thing was real as well. The rest of it, I don't know. But next week, y'all saw what's going to happen with Erica. Why I keep wanting to call April Erica? April and Fizz. Want to see what that's about. But anyway, you guys, I enjoyed that episode. How did you guys like it? All right, you guys, back to work. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.